Donald Trump, never one to shy away from controversy, seems to have outdone himself in a recent speech in Juno, Wisconsin, where his rambling and erratic behavior left both supporters and critics scratching their heads. With slurred speech, baffling statements, and a series of strange claims, Trump's performance raised questions about his state of mind and political strategy. The speech, which seemed to unravel into chaos, has sparked a flurry of media coverage and intense debate across the political spectrum. Was this simply Trump being Trump, or is something more troubling going on behind the scenes? In this video, we'll break down the bizarre moments of Trump's Wisconsin address, where he insulted his own staff, made head-scratching remarks about everything from Elon Musk to Starlink, and even compared himself to a fly. Is Trump losing his grip on reality, or is this part of a calculated strategy to stir up attention? Let's dive into the surreal highlights from Trump's latest rally and explore what it means for his political future. A speech full of slurs and confusion. It all began with a speech that was meant to galvanize Trump supporters ahead of the 2024 election, but instead, it turned into a perplexing display of confusion. Trump's speech in Juno, Wisconsin, was filmed from an angle that awkwardly avoided the glare from bulletproof glass placed in front of the stage. But the filming angles were the least of Trump's issues, as he repeatedly slurred his speech and struggled to make coherent points. At one point, Trump made a vague comment about people not voting. He said, "One just don't vote. I love these people, evangelicals." Evangelical, evang, trailing off mid-sentence as if unsure of where he was going. The slurring, combined with the unfinished thoughts, was alarming. It wasn't clear who or what he was referencing, and his audience seemed equally puzzled. As someone known for his off-the-cuff speaking style, Trump has often veered off script, but this time his disjointed speech raised real concerns. Was it a simple case of fatigue, or was there something more alarming at play? The rally photo mix-up. Not long after his initial stumble, Trump shifted focus to something entirely unrelated. He asked his team to display a photo of his rally crowd from the previous night in Butler, Pennsylvania. However, when the photo was shown, Trump was visibly frustrated, calling the people working for him stupid for putting up the wrong image. Trump lashed out, saying, "The wrong picture." That was unbelievable. They added the wrong picture. It's the same picture, but with two side things. So stupid. His exasperation with his own staff was clear. But what was even more baffling was that the photo displayed seemed to be the correct one. This minor hiccup led to a confusing moment where Trump seemed to spiral into complaints about the competency of his team. The incident gave viewers a glimpse into the growing disarray within Trump's camp. His public insults toward his own handlers were a far cry from the organized and strategic campaign most candidates aim for. Instead, this outburst showcased a leader seemingly unraveling in real time, a demand for apologies from the media. Shifting gears once again, Trump began talking about his recent interview with 60 Minutes and demanded that the media apologize to him. He claimed that they should do it again and that he wouldn't speak with them until they apologize for their previous coverage. "I'll do it again, but they've got to apologize," Trump insisted, as the crowd cheered him on. This combative stance towards the media is nothing new, but it reflected the growing paranoia and frustration Trump feels towards any outlet that doesn't give him favorable coverage. The speech took another turn for the bizarre when Trump brought up Kamala Harris voters. With a tone of mock concern, he told the crowd that it would be dangerous for them to identify themselves, insinuating that those who supported Harris might face physical harm. "Is anybody here going to vote for Lion Kamala? Please raise your hand. Actually, don't raise your hand. It would be very dangerous. We don't want to see anybody get hurt." This odd remark was delivered in Trump's typical style of hyperbole, but it was far from clear what he meant or why he thought identifying as a Harris voter would lead to danger. His attempt at humor landed flat, leaving even his supporters confused. The fly incident, comparing himself to an insect. In another surreal moment, Trump interrupted his speech to swat at a fly buzzing around him. "I don't like flies. Get out of here, fly." "I've never been a big fan of flies," Trump said, swatting at the air. What came next was even stranger. Trump compared the aggressive fly to his own approach to leadership. "This one in particular is very aggressive, like I'm going to be aggressive for our country," Trump said. The metaphor was tenuous at best, and the comparison between himself and a pesky fly seemed more like an unintentional self-deprecating joke than a serious statement of intent. For many, this was one of the most bizarre moments of the rally. What was meant to be a moment of levity only reinforced the notion that Trump was becoming increasingly detached and erratic in his public appearances. The stock market and his poll numbers. Later in the speech, Trump made a claim that even by his standards seemed far-fetched. He stated that the stock market was hitting record highs because of his poll numbers. "The market goes up every time I get a good poll number, and we've had great ones. Now the market's starting to go." Trump's assertion that the stock market was somehow directly tied to his own poll results was not only misleading, but flat-out incorrect. In reality, Trump has been trailing in many polls, and there is no evidence to suggest that his popularity has any immediate effect on financial markets. Still, his supporters cheered, seemingly undeterred by the lack of facts. Starlink, a dose of confusion. Next came a baffling section where Trump talked about the satellite internet service, Starlink. Despite admitting that he didn't really know what Starlink was, Trump claimed to have called Elon Musk to secure big doses of it for North Carolina and Georgia. "I don't know what the hell it is, but they need it," Trump said, adding that during his conversation with Musk, he received a call thanking him for getting Starlink for the region. "How the hell did you do that? You're talking to me," Trump exclaimed in a moment that was more head-scratching than impressive. This anecdote seemed to encapsulate the chaos of the speech. Not only was Trump discussing a topic he clearly didn't understand, but the delivery was so jumbled that it became nearly impossible to follow. More dangerous than dictators? Perhaps the most alarming moment of the speech came when Trump warned his audience that the enemy from within was more dangerous than foreign adversaries like Russia and China. Trump went on a tirade against Marxists, communists, and fascists, claiming that these groups were secretly running the country. "These people are more dangerous than Russia and China," Trump declared, adding that Joe Biden wasn't really in control, nor was Kamala Harris. This rhetoric, typical of Trump's brand of fearmongering, was reminiscent of his previous attacks on the so-called deep state, lies about hurricane relief. One of the most blatant lies in Trump's speech came when he falsely claimed that the federal government had abandoned Republican areas affected by Hurricane Helen. Despite Republican governors and senators in the affected regions praising the federal response, Trump insisted that the White House was doing nothing. "They haven't seen anybody from the federal government yet. The federal government isn't there," Trump said. This was quickly debunked by local and national media, but it didn't stop Trump from spreading the misinformation, which only fueled distrust among his base. "I want to be a dictator for one day." In a jaw-dropping moment, Trump admitted that he would like to be a dictator, at least for one day. When asked by Sean Hannity if he wanted to be a dictator, Trump responded, "I only want to be a dictator for one day," a comment that he later insisted was a joke. Despite the laughter from the crowd, many found the comment disturbing. Given Trump's history of authoritarian tendencies, even a joke about dictatorial ambitions was enough to set off alarms. The line between Trump's sarcasm and his true intentions has always been blurred, making it difficult to discern when he's serious and when he's simply playing to the crowd. Donald Trump's speech in Wisconsin was, by all accounts, one of his most erratic and perplexing yet. From slurred words and strange metaphors to outright falsehoods, the former president seemed to be unraveling in real time. His attacks on his own staff, bizarre comparisons to flies, and jumbled remarks about everything from Elon Musk to Kamala Harris left many wondering if this was a new low for the 2024 candidate. As Trump continues his campaign for re-election, speeches like these raise serious questions about his mental fitness and political strategy. Is Trump deliberately creating chaos to energize his base, or is he simply losing his grip on reality? Either way, the spectacle of his Wisconsin rally will undoubtedly be remembered as one of the most surreal moments of his political career. Whether this will help or hinder his chances in 2024 remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: Trump's unpredictable behavior is far from over.